Hey guys, I know that you're here for the podcast episode. Thank you so much for your support. Real quick, I wanted to tell you about my business. That's STSG Marketing. When it comes to social media, it's a must for your business. If you're not doing it, you're missing out on tons of new clients and a way to engage with your old ones. So it's just super important. That's what I do. I can create content for you. I can manage your social media for you. I can coach you on how to grow your business through social media organically. If that's something you want a hand with, I would love to help you. Cruise over to my website. That's stsgmarketing.com. I would love to help you. Now let's get into the episode. Hey guys, Sky the Service Guy here again. Today we're going to talk about harnessing the power of negativity and using it as a catalyst.
Sky, the service guy, staying up late at night, doing podcasts all the time, talking about service, yeah that's right. Yeah, we got the sales, do we got the knowledge to make a bill? We just paying bills, all we know is time will tell. Sky, the service guy.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. We talk sales, service, marketing, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about the power of negativity and really what we can do with that. Today's episode, as always, is going to have three main points. The first point is we want to focus on the power of constructive criticism. The second point, we want to turn failure into a success. And then that third point here is we want to use it as a tool to encourage open communication, right? So kind of just starting off at the very beginning, a lot of people, when they're criticized, they will take it as this person's being negative to me. I know at times I used to have a really hard time taking criticism. I'm sure I'm going to take some criticism, positive or negative, about my podcast. I have to understand where this person's coming from when they're telling me this. Is this a friend of mine? Is this someone who's genuinely trying to help? And I've got to be able to digest that, right? So I've got to be willing to embrace the feedback, especially when it comes from somebody who is a customer, they're a colleague, they're a mentor of mine. I've got to embrace constructive criticism. That way I can improve myself. Right. If I'm not willing to listen and get better, then I'm probably going to stay even keel or get worse. Right. Some of my bad habits will be reinforced because I'm not getting any feedback on it. Right. So criticism can be a very, very positive tool. The other thing that, constructive criticism can bring is your ability to adapt and innovate. When you get criticism that, hey, whatever you're doing is not working, I seen that post you did, I seen that piece of marketing you put out, I seen this, that, or the other, and they also see you failing, and then they're giving you the criticism. This could push you for the better. There was a marketing thing I was trying one time, and I heard some guys in the hallway kind of snickering and laughing about it and going, and he wonders why it's not working. Now, I would have rather had that criticism brought to me face to face, but it is what it is, right? Maybe I was being unapproachable, whatever the situation was. But after I was done being mad and irritated about it, right? I was able to take a deep breath and look at the marketing I had put out there and went, yeah, that's not great. That's not simple enough. That's too complicated. And it really allowed me to adapt and change some things in the style I was doing them. So, even though those people couldn't tell me face to face, that's okay. Thank you. The other thing it can do is it can help build resilience. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, salespeople, service people, marketers, we will take criticism and we'll let it be a seed that grows into something really nasty and ugly. I would embrace getting some constructive criticism at the beginning of any journey and letting it build your skin up, right? Having some thick skin. Because there comes a point where you got to consider the source and you've got to consider the meaning behind it. Not everybody wants you to win. And some people they're going to come up with a criticism, especially if it's someone who you're trying to sell on a certain service or product that you're marketing. They might give you an objection that sounds like a criticism where, well, I would never do business with somebody like you because of X, Y, and Z. That person could also just be trying to come up with an excuse. So that would be something I wouldn't take too much to heart, because it's not coming from somebody you're in a mentor relationship with, and if it is bothering you, that's what mentors are for. That's what friends are for. That's what people like me are for. If you've got something out there that's going on with your business and you're getting feedback that you're not liking, and you want to hear somebody give you an impartial, non-biased thing, I'm here to help you, right? Sky the service guy, 100%. But we have to take that criticism. We got to consider the source. We've got to allow it to help us when it's helpful. And we've got to understand the difference between helpful and non-helpful, and just let it, thicken our skin up a little bit. The other thing that, negativity can do is it can transform failure into success. They always say that failure is the best teacher. And as much as I hate to agree with everyone else, they are right. Some of the most successful things I've had happened after I fell on my face, right? So it's very important to embrace failure and not let that failure build, like I said before, plant a seed and turn into something ugly. Just because you failed at that one thing, you only figured out that one way that it didn't work. That doesn't mean you still don't have a great idea, great product, great service. It just means that you might have to figure out a new way to make it work, right? Like I just said, adapt and innovate. We learn from our mistakes. It helps us in the future have wisdom, right? So when we're approached with the same problem again, now we know what to do, right? We've learned. Same thing, that can also be a great teaching moment for you when you become a mentor to someone. So it's not just a one-way street. It's failure can help save other people headache and anguish and things of that nature. And I know it's tough in the moment because you're like, what in the world do I do with this? And sometimes the best thing to do is get a good night's sleep, wake up the next morning, analyze it, figure it out. Also when failure happens, every customer has a horror story. And I would venture to bet that even one of your customers have a horror story about you. Failure can be a great tool to level with someone and to give you a chance to be really honest and vulnerable and go, yeah, we totally screwed this up. I'm sorry. And it gives you a chance to do the right thing. Most companies, especially the way the internet works nowadays, people love to get the 5-star reviews, but those 1 stars can really be awesome service opportunities. If I'm looking to hire a company, I'm going straight to their bad reviews. And the first thing I'm looking at is, did the company even respond? Right. And I've done enough service and business stuff to understand the difference between a real review and a fake review. So I'm not going to not do business with, you can't make everybody happy. That's what happens when you're dealing with the human element. But if they have several, if they've been in business 10 years and they got 5 or 6 bad reviews, that's no big deal. But I want to see if they've responded, right? So you have this customer that's abysmally disappointed, and you might not think that that's failure, but the customer experience is really important, right? So first thing I'm going to look at, did the company respond? The company did. That's a great first start. Did the company offer to do something to make it right in the message? Did they tell the customer they were going to be reaching out to them, or did they put the ball in the customer's court, like, hey, reach out to us so we can fix this? Depending on the service or business, sometimes you have to put it in the customer's court, but I just think it can be a really, really big thing as far as giving you a chance to do the right thing, right? So much of failure needs to actually be looked at as opportunity. And kind of like the last point here it can really affect, failure can really affect your work culture. If you have someone who's swimming in negativity at work, it can bring down yourself and others. But there's also something to be said about being too positive. I've been around people before where they act like nothing ever goes wrong in their business. And the people there, they're almost trained to be happy-go-lucky all the time, where they can't even approach management or their boss or another employee with a problem. Obviously, you don't want anyone who's swimming in negativity, because that can be a cancer to everyone around you in the business, right? If there's a problem, we need to be looking towards a solution. But I'm talking about almost a too positive of a culture where we're not even willing to admit there's a problem. Oh, everything's fine. Ooh. It's, hey, we could get better at X, Y, and Z, and this is how we're going to do it. And they roll out a plan. The other thing it can do when you have negativity in the workplace, that's kind of a positive thing, is it can it could encourage communication. So many things can be corrected just by having an environment where people feel comfortable to communicate. I see it time and time again where somebody feels like they can't communicate and they hold it in, they mumble it under their breath, and then it reflects their work. You wonder why Johnny's putting out subpar effort on subpar day doing X, Y, and Z, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Well, it's because he was frustrated about something and he wasn't able to express it properly. And now he's swimming in negativity and he's pushing even more stuff up. The other thing that negativity can bring, because it's not always perfect and always good all the time, is when something that is good happens, it gives us a chance to celebrate that success. It's huge to, in my opinion at least, to recognize people when they've went above and beyond, when they've accomplished something really special. Unfortunately, and this is probably a topic for another podcast, but the workplace of the post-pandemic, it seems like people are being celebrated for just coming to work. Bonuses just for not being late, not necessarily an above and beyond. And don't get me wrong, I think there is something to be said about somebody who's been consistent and given their time and energy to your business. That person definitely does need to be celebrated. I think it just comes with time, though, and I think we're a little too quick to do it at times. But like I said, probably a topic for a different episode. I think in conclusion, negativity doesn't necessarily have to be a roadblock. It can be a catalyst for growth. It can help you to embrace that constructive criticism. It can transform failures into opportunities. It can cultivate a positive work experience for you and everyone around you. At the end of the day, though, when you have negativity come into your day, it's all about mindset and perspective. So you've got to consider that. Thanks for joining me today. As always, be sure to like, subscribe. If you've ever been negative at work or had a negative experience, tell me on the Q&A on how we can overcome it, and hopefully that can help somebody else. Until next time, guys, keep pushing, and I'll see you next week.
Sky, the service guy, staying up late at night, doing podcasts all the time, talking about service, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got the sales, do we got the knowledge to make a meal?